Imagine this, a man who can't stop thinking about you, who feels a magnetic pull toward your presence, who craves your energy and your attention, all within days. Not weeks, not months, but a few short days. This isn't fantasy or manipulation. This is the psychology of desire in its rawest form. Men are wired to respond to specific cues that trigger sexual and emotional obsession, and when these cues are applied correctly, the effect is instant, irresistible, and deeply powerful. The truth is, obsession doesn't have to develop slowly over time. It can ignite rapidly when you understand how to engage a man's mind, body, and subconscious drive simultaneously. The first principle of rapid obsession is presence. Presence is not simply being there physically. It is how you occupy space with confidence, energy, and calm authority. Men are highly attuned to energy. They notice it subconsciously long before words or gestures matter. When a woman radiates full presence, he feels it immediately, whether he realizes it or not. He notices how you carry yourself, how you speak, how your energy flows, and it leaves a lasting imprint. Presence creates the psychological hook that makes a man think about you repeatedly. The more grounded, confident, and emotionally aligned you are, the faster this imprint forms. Presence is the invisible magnet that begins his obsession in mere days. Mental stimulation is the next layer. Men are drawn to women who engage their intellect and curiosity. Conversations that challenge his thinking, spark laughter, or reveal subtle insight create instant intrigue. He begins to replay your words in his mind, anticipating your next comment, and imagining the depth of your personality. This is why wit, humor, and intelligence are not optional. They are triggers for immediate fascination. In just a few interactions, a man can become mentally obsessed because his brain associates you with excitement, intrigue, and challenge. Rapid obsession is often born from mental engagement. He wants to think about you, puzzle over you, and understand you on levels that go beyond the surface. Physical presence accelerates obsession even further. Sexual desire is deeply intertwined with physical cues and energy. How you move, the subtle gestures you make, the way you hold your posture, or even the rhythm of your voice can ignite desire instantly. You do not need perfection. You need energy, confidence, and magnetic subtlety. A lingering glance, a slight touch, or a poised, deliberate movement send subconscious signals that trigger neurological reward systems. When mental stimulation and physical cues align, obsession skyrockets. In days, he begins craving not just your presence, but the entire energy you radiate. Polarity is another critical element that accelerates desire. Men respond instinctively to contrasts, strength and vulnerability, independence and warmth, openness and mystery. By naturally embodying these contrasts, you create tension that sparks pursuit. Polarity is not about acting differently than you are. It is about being fully yourself while allowing these dynamic energies to coexist. This contrast triggers instinctual responses in men, compelling them to pursue, desire, and fixate on you. When a woman balances polarity effectively, a man becomes obsessed almost immediately because the tension stimulates his drive and curiosity. Emotional resonance deepens rapid obsession. Men are wired to remember how a woman makes them feel, and even small emotional highs can create powerful psychological imprints. Every smile, laugh, tease, or moment of genuine connection becomes a cue that he unconsciously associates with pleasure, reward, and desire. Emotional resonance works in tandem with mental and physical cues, creating a multi-layered impression that lodges itself in his mind. In just days, he begins to relive interactions, anticipate future moments, and crave the emotional energy only you provide. Shadow engagement is another factor that speeds up obsession. Every man has desires, fears, and hidden aspects of himself that he rarely expresses. A woman who can safely reflect these shadows without judgment creates a profound sense of intimacy. He experiences himself more fully in your presence, and this sense of being understood and seen is addictive. Within days, this creates a psychological pull that makes him want to seek you repeatedly. Obsession becomes more than physical desire. It becomes emotional and cognitive fixation. Sensory imprinting compounds this effect. Men remember smells, voices, gestures, and even subtle micro-expressions. These sensory cues trigger desire subconsciously. When paired with presence, mental stimulation, polarity, and shadow engagement, they accelerate the formation of obsession. His brain begins to crave your energy, your voice, your scent, everything about your presence. He doesn't just want to see you. He wants the entire experience of being with you. Finally, confidence and independence are the glue that holds rapid obsession together. A man cannot become obsessed with someone who appears needy, insecure, or desperate for validation. True obsession forms quickly when a woman radiates self-possession and demonstrates that her life is rich and full, with or without him. Paradoxically, this autonomy intensifies his desire. The more complete and independent you are, the more he is compelled to seek you. Within days, he recognizes your value, feels your rarity, and becomes captivated by the magnetic energy you radiate. The key takeaway is this: rapid sexual obsession is not about manipulation or chasing, it is about alignment. When you activate the mind, body, and subconscious psychological triggers together, obsession can form in days, not months. Presence, mental stimulation, physical cues, polarity, emotional resonance, shadow engagement, sensory imprinting, and confidence all work together to create a multi-layered, self-reinforcing system of desire. He thinks about you constantly, craves your presence, and feels a magnetic pull that he cannot resist, all without you having to try or force anything. In the next sections, we will break down specific strategies and practical behaviors that allow you to ignite obsession in days. How to communicate subtly but powerfully, how to embody energy and presence, how to evoke mental and emotional stimulation, and how to anchor yourself in his subconscious mind. By mastering these techniques, you can create rapid sexual obsession ethically, naturally and effortlessly, turning your presence into a force he cannot ignore, a pull he cannot resist, and a desire he cannot escape. Once you understand the psychology of male desire, the process of creating sexual obsession in days becomes much less mysterious. The first step is mental engagement. Men are fascinated by women who stimulate their minds, who challenge them, make them think, and inspire curiosity. You don't need to dominate conversations or act smarter than him. What matters is the subtle art of intrigue. Pose questions that encourage reflection, offer insights that make him rethink his assumptions, or share personal stories that reveal depth. Even playful teasing or intelligent humor can trigger fascination, as his mind begins to replay your interactions repeatedly. Mental stimulation is like planting seeds of obsession. Each interaction compounds, making him anticipate the next moment with you. Equally important is the physical layer of attraction. Sexual obsession is triggered when he perceives a woman's energy through movement, posture, and subtle gestures. How you carry yourself communicates confidence, availability, and sensuality without needing words. Micro-expressions, eye contact, and light touches act as unconscious triggers in the brain, signaling desire and interest. A confident stance, a slow smile, or a deliberate gesture can ignite neurological responses that make him feel drawn to you almost instantly. When mental stimulation and physical presence combine, they create a multi-layered imprint in his mind and body, accelerating obsession in ways that words alone cannot. Polarity also plays a central role. Men are wired to respond to contrasts, the interplay of strength and softness, independence and receptivity, mystery and openness. A woman who naturally balances these qualities triggers instinctual desire, creating tension that compels pursuit. The tension is magnetic. He becomes unconsciously motivated to seek out your energy, win your attention, and decode your mystery. Polarity works because it taps into instinctual drives, making him emotionally and psychologically engaged, while simultaneously heightening sexual attraction. Within days, this creates a sense of fixation that is difficult to break. Emotional resonance is another key factor in rapid obsession. Men remember how you make them feel more than what you say. Laughter, shared excitement, playful intimacy, and moments of genuine connection form neural pathways that attach his emotions to your presence. Even brief interactions can have lasting impact if they evoke joy, intrigue, or validation. When he associates you with positive emotional states, he begins to crave those experiences, thinking about you constantly and seeking out ways to recreate those moments. Emotional resonance anchors desire, transforming physical and mental attraction into a deeper, more enduring fixation. Shadow psychology accelerates the process further. Every man carries hidden desires, insecurities, and impulses that he rarely reveals. A woman who can acknowledge or mirror these shadow elements without judgment creates profound psychological intimacy. He experiences a sense of being fully understood, which is addictive. This creates a subconscious dependence on your presence, as he feels safe exploring parts of himself that he otherwise suppresses. Shadow engagement is one of the most overlooked yet powerful tools for creating obsession quickly, because it establishes a rare, irreplaceable connection. Sensory imprinting compounds the effect. Men remember scents, voices, gestures, and subtle physical cues. A deliberate use of these sensory elements, your perfume, laughter, tone, or mannerisms, reinforces his attachment and craving. Even when you are absent, sensory triggers activate desire and anticipation. When combined with mental stimulation, physical attraction, emotional resonance, and shadow engagement, these cues ensure that your presence lingers in his mind continuously. His obsession becomes self-reinforcing. He thinks about you because his body, mind, and emotions are all wired to respond to your energy. Timing and rhythm are essential to trigger obsession rapidly. Men respond to cycles of engagement and distance. You create tension by responding thoughtfully, maintaining your own life and allowing subtle space between interactions. This isn't manipulation. It's a natural expression of autonomy. The brain releases dopamine during anticipation, which makes him crave your attention even more. By controlling the rhythm of your presence, you activate his pursuit instinct, intensifying his desire day by day. He begins to replay your interactions, imagine your energy, and seek you out, all without pressure or forced effort on your part. Finally, confidence and independence solidify obsession. Men are drawn to women who live full lives, maintain boundaries, and exude self-possession. Neediness, desperation, or constant validation kills desire instantly. True obsession forms when a woman demonstrates that she is complete on her own. Paradoxically, the more autonomous and confident you are, the faster he becomes obsessed. He recognizes rarity, value, and power in your energy, and is compelled to pursue and desire it relentlessly. Within days, his fixation grows because you are magnetic, unattainable in the healthiest sense, and fully alive in your own energy. By combining mental stimulation, physical presence, polarity, emotional resonance, shadow engagement, sensory imprinting, timing, and confidence, you create a multi-layered system of obsession that works rapidly. He thinks about you constantly, craves your attention, relives interactions in his mind, and anticipates future encounters. This method doesn't rely on manipulation, lies, or games. It relies on alignment, authenticity, and a deep understanding of male desire. When executed with awareness, obsession can form in just days, transforming attraction into a powerful, multidimensional connection that is nearly irresistible. The most important truth to understand about sexual obsession is that it is never about chasing or forcing a man to feel something for you. Obsession is a reflection of your energy, your presence, and the way you engage him on multiple levels simultaneously: mind, body, and subconscious drives. Within days, a man can become captivated if you know how to align these elements consciously and authentically. The secret is not in tricks, manipulation, or gimmicks. It is in the intentional cultivation of mental intrigue, physical magnetism, emotional resonance, and subtle psychological triggers. Once these layers align, his desire becomes almost automatic, self-reinforcing, and deeply compelling. Mental engagement is the first pillar. When you stimulate a man's intellect, curiosity, and fascination, you become unforgettable in his mind. Every conversation, insight, or playful tease strengthens his cognitive attachment. He begins replaying interactions, anticipating future conversations, and thinking about you even when you are not present. Within days, this mental imprint creates a foundation for obsession because he cannot stop thinking about the woman who challenges him, intrigues him, and stimulates his mind. The stronger and more consistent this engagement, the more rapid the fixation. The physical layer accelerates the process by tapping into instinctual desire. How you carry yourself, your posture, gestures, and micro-expressions communicate energy, confidence, and sexual magnetism. These subtle cues trigger neurological responses that make him crave your presence, reinforcing the mental imprint already established. The combination of mental stimulation and physical presence creates a multi-layered attraction that is difficult to resist. In just days, he begins associating your energy, your movements, and your presence with excitement and pleasure, creating rapid obsession that feels natural and unstoppable. Polarity amplifies this attraction. Men are hardwired to respond to contrast, strength and vulnerability, mystery and openness, independence and warmth. By embodying these contrasts authentically, you create tension that compels pursuit. The magnetic interplay of opposites activates instinctual drives, making him emotionally and psychologically engaged while simultaneously intensifying sexual desire. Polarity transforms simple attraction into a fixation. As he experiences both challenge and reward in the same interaction, emotional resonance further cements obsession. Men remember how you make them feel more than what you say or do. Every smile, laugh, playful tease, or moment of connection triggers emotional reward centers, creating a subconscious attachment. When emotional resonance aligns with mental and physical engagement, desire deepens quickly. He begins to crave your presence, not just for physical attraction, but for the joy, excitement, and emotional fulfillment you provide. Within days, he becomes emotionally dependent on the experience of being around you. Shadow engagement adds depth and psychological intensity. Every man has hidden desires, fears, and suppressed impulses. A woman who can safely reflect these shadows without judgment creates intimacy that is rare and addictive. He feels fully seen, understood, and emotionally validated, which accelerates obsession because it taps into parts of himself he rarely shares. The result is fixation that is both emotional and psychological, giving you influence over his attention and desire without effort or manipulation. Sensory imprinting reinforces the connection. Your scent, voice, touch, gestures, and micro-expressions become subconscious triggers that activate desire. Even when you are not present, these cues pull him back mentally and emotionally. The combination of mind, body, shadow, and sensory engagement ensures that he is thinking about you constantly, reliving interactions and craving more experiences with you. Obsession becomes self-reinforcing and nearly automatic, forming within days of conscious alignment. Timing and autonomy are the final pieces of the puzzle. By maintaining your life interests and boundaries, you create cycles of engagement and anticipation that heighten desire. Men respond instinctively to what they cannot fully possess. When you demonstrate independence and self-possession, he is compelled to pursue relentlessly. This is not manipulation. It is the natural effect of being a woman whose energy is magnetic, autonomous, and fully alive. Within days, the tension and anticipation generated by your rhythm intensify his obsession in ways that feel instinctual, irresistible, and unavoidable. In essence, rapid sexual obsession is a product of alignment: mind, body, emotional resonance, shadow engagement, sensory imprinting, polarity, timing, and confidence. He becomes captivated because your energy, presence, and essence create a multi-layered imprint in his consciousness. Within days, he thinks about you constantly, craves your presence, and desires the emotional, intellectual, and physical connection you provide. Obsession is not manufactured. It is a natural byproduct of authenticity, alignment, and subtle psychological mastery. The ultimate lesson is empowering. You do not need to chase, manipulate, or compromise yourself to create obsession. Your energy, confidence, intelligence, emotional depth, and presence are enough to make him fixate on you naturally. Within days, he can become addicted to your presence, intrigued by your mind, captivated by your body, and emotionally attached to your soul. When you align mind, body, and soul with conscious intention, obsession is inevitable, effortless, and profound. He will think about you constantly, crave your attention, and feel incomplete without your energy because you have become unforgettable, irresistible, and deeply embedded in his consciousness. Sexual obsession in days is possible not through games but through authentic alignment, magnetic presence, and the conscious use of psychological principles. You become the woman he cannot resist, the presence he cannot ignore, and the desire he cannot escape.